Scott Parker. He's become somewhat of a promotion specialist in recent years, and now he's been given the reins at Burnley FC to try and restore his career, following a poor stint in Belgium. Can he get Burnley back into the top flight and even get them fighting for some silverware? Today we're going to find out. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe, but for now, let's break into it. It's going to be a monster rebuild. Don't worry, Cylinder RTG will be back soon, but today it's time for the Clarets. First look at the squad then, and the first thing that stands out to me is that there's a few different teams here, and what I mean by it, there's a few elements of the Sean Dyche team, a few elements of the Vincent Company team. But what we need to do in this transfer window is streamline it down and make it into Scott Parker's Burnley team. First up though, as in real life, before the Careermode started, we said goodbye to Peacock Farrell, Goodmanson and Charlie Taylor, who all departed the club. I also pre-released Jack Cork, although I'm not entirely sure where he's went. He seems to have disappeared. As in real life, I'm going to use some of the funds available to bring in Steve and Trezor on permanent deals. However, unlike real life, I'm not going to complete the signing of Sambo from PSV. He just doesn't fit into the way I'm going to set this Burnley team up, and he wasn't even a Scott Parker transfer anyway. And after those transfers, we've been left with only 2 million in the bank, which means if you want to bring any more players into the club, we need to get a move on with these departures. And just like that, we've made a significant number of departures to the club. I'm not going to go through them all individually because I'd be here forever. But first up, we let go of Veghorst, who went to Sheffield United. We also sold Muric to Sporting Lisbon, get some extra funds in, and gives James Trafford the platform to grow. We also said goodbye to Vitinho, who went to Braga as he just didn't fit the system. And we also cashed in on McNally and Ekdal, primarily because we already have a good core of centre halves at the club. Finally, we also let go of Egan Riley and the veteran Jay Rodriguez. So now that we have our squad at its baseline, this is what the team is looking like. We went for a 3-4-2-1 formation, as we're going to be playing a tiki-taka style of football, and this is the only formation with 3 at the back that suits that style. In terms of how good the team is, this team is more than good enough to get promoted. In terms of transfers, I'm just thinking of bringing one left mid who has some more defensive capabilities, and potentially an ace striker as well. In terms of finances then, we have around 30 million to spend. I don't think we're going to be spending this all just yet. We'll bring in 1 or 2 new players, and then we'll use the rest in January. First bit of business done and done as we welcome Maxwell Cornet back to the club. We wanted a left-sided player who had some good defense, and he fits that bill, and he's been here before. Signed him for 8 million from West Ham. Next up, we headed up to Scotland to source our striker for the season, signing Kyogo Furuhashi from Celtic for 10 million. And with those 2 signings, that leaves us with about 9 million in the bank. And I actually think that's where we're going to leave the transfer business for now. To be honest, the side is more than good enough to get promoted from the Championship as is, so I don't want to waste too much money right now. I'd rather save some money going into January, and if there's any glaring issues in the team, then fill it there. The only concern I might have is that maybe James Trafford just isn't good enough right now, but I'm going to give him a shot at January, and if he's not doing well, I might bring in a veteran keeper to help us get promoted. I also decided to use some of that money to bring in some extra coaches to help with the game plan as well. For those who don't know, while it's not great to have these guys as silver and bronze coaches, they will develop into gold rated coaches over time. But for now, that about wraps up the first update of this career mode. Let's now jump into the midway point of the season and see how we're going in our fight for promotion from the Championship. And into the midway point of the season then, and we're currently sitting 4th in the league. A few teething issues, as you can see, we've drawn 8 times. That's really cost us so far. Still only 4 points off the top spot. I'm not too worried yet. In terms of the squad, Josh Brownhill requested to leave because he wasn't getting enough game time, so we sold him to Fenerbahce for 6 million. Nassari also requested to leave. I'm not entirely sure actually why he wanted to leave. It wasn't due to game time because he was playing every game, but then the offer came in from Al Hilal, so we cashed out for 20 million. It was only 75 rated when I agreed to sell him back in November as well, but he's went up then, so we ended up not getting a great deal out of that one. In terms of how the squad is going, just ignore the fitness we have, just played a game. Most players are developing nicely. I'm just going to look at bringing in a new centre forward as well. Maybe you go out and find our new centre forward, then bring in Yao Pedro from Brighton. Sign the Brazilian centre forward from Brighton for 17 million. Do have a little bit of money left to play with, but I'm not too sure if there's any way we can really strengthen the team with this kind of money. We also sold this Hans Delacroix lad. He just wasn't getting any games at the club. Really, the only place in the team that has a low overall is James Trafford. I don't think there's anyone I can bring in who's going to be better than him enough to justify like kind of ruining this guy's potential. I have a look and see if there's like a right mid I can buy because Roberts isn't really doing going forward. Trying to source a new right mid was coming all the way down to deadline day. First step was to sell Roberts off though as well. He went across to Benfica for 5 million. I think there's any chance we would have the funds to pull it off, but on the deadline day we've managed to do it. Signed Jacob Ramsey from Aston Villa, 15 million plus Amdouni. I thought it was out of reach, but we were able to do it, and now we have both Jacob Ramsey and Aaron Ramsey here at the club. I'm going to convert Jacob over to a right mid. He's going to be a long-term option over there. In terms of the player who was using the deal, it was Ziki Amdouni. He also requested to leave. He was like 3rd striker behind Lyle Foster. I'm really happy how the team is looking now, especially the 2 wide players. Some of these wide players who can mainly go forward but also have good defensive stats is so important for this tactic. Cornet and Ramsey are exactly that. That about wraps up our winter business. Let's now jump into some of the games again and see how we're going at the end of the season. End of the season then, and we finished in 2nd, comfortably ahead of Preston in 3rd. We actually ended up joint on points with Leeds. We had a really good run in the second half, but apparently it wasn't quite good enough as they ended up with 3 better goal difference than us. But in the long run, we won't remember coming 2nd in the Championship if we go on to do great things in the Premier League. In the Carabao Cup, we actually had a really good run, eventually losing to Liverpool in the quarterfinals. Manchester United were going to win that one. In the FA Cup, in round 3, we got past Preston 1-0. In round 4, we went to a replay where we beat Sheffield United 4-2. In round 5, we got past Coventry on penalties. In the quarterfinals, we came up against Crystal Palace and beat them 2-1. You might be able to see where this is going. And in the semi-finals, we beat Middlesbrough 3-0 to complete the easiest run to the FA Cup final you will ever see. Have a look at this. Somehow, in our first season, while still in the Championship, we have an FA Cup final against Manchester United. I said at the start of the video, we have a good side to start off with. I didn't think it was a good enough side to get to the FA Cup final, but we'll absolutely take that. I accidentally started the match when I was getting ready in the little pre-match screen, and you can 100% guarantee we're always going to play this game. An FA Cup final in our first season. Even if we win, this won't be the end of the career mode, as you can probably see at the timing down below, because I want to go on to at least win the Premier League with Burnley and Scott Parker. Alright, FA Cup final against Manchester United. Let's get into a Burnley. Come on. Good early win high up the field here for Ramsey. He's going to slip through it into Kyogo. Kyogo one-on-one, he goes to the shot. It was a weird shot, but a good save from Nana. United coming forward now. Andrich plays into David. David's one-on-one. Oh, he's got to pass Trafford. That's 1-0 United. Disappointing defending there. Big switch here from Burnley, and Ramsey has a lot of space out wide now. Try to play it inside into Pedro. Pedro goes for goal. It's a good shot. Oh, another good save from Onana. United could be in again here. Jalvin Davis going through. Oh, no, that could be a red card. That might be a red. And it is a red card. Things go from bad to worse here. 1-0 down, and we're down to 10 men. Oh, dear. I thought I timed that well as well. Very kicky United. I didn't make any changes. I just kind of moved players around instead of making any subs just yet. United keeping the pressure up here. Anthony could be in. Trying to get across, just kind of shrugged off the play. Anthony now one-on-one with Trafford, tries to pull it back. David goes for goal. Great save from Trafford. Half-time here at Wembley, and there is a mountain to climb for Burnley on the other half. Cullen with the corner here for Burnley, into the box, in towards Pedro, headed up. Gonna head up as far as Steve's. Gonna head it out to Cullen again. Cullen tries to find it in towards Pedro. Pedro goes up. Oh, good save for Nana. Oh, headed away. Oh, we've committed too many bodies forward, and United could be in here. Matoma going down the right, trying to find something. He's got inside way too easy. Fernandez plays it through. In towards Andrich. Trafford comes out. It's 2-0. That's game, set, and match United here. Final whistle, then, and we do end up losing to Man United in the final. A lot to be proud of here, but I can't help but feel disappointed. The red card ruined the game. But don't worry, lads. We'll be back. This is only the start of Scotty Parker's journey with Burnley. That's Ten Hag frauding his way to a new contract then. Quick look at the stats for the season. João Pedro was a revelation since coming to the club in January, bagging 24 goals. Diogo managed 23 in all competitions. Trezor got 17 and Cornet got 9. In terms of assists, Trezor had a good season as well, getting 13 assists. Burge got 11. Cullen got 7 as well. We also stuck with James Trafford. I was impressed. He's up to 75, and he'll be our keeper hopefully for the whole rebuild here. But that will wrap up the season then. Promotion in the Championship and runners up in the FA Cup. I think as far as Scott Parker's concerned, that was a very successful season. Let's roll on the Premier League. Right, Premier League, what we're saying then. I think our team is more than good enough not to go down. We may be able to challenge in the top half of the table this season, but who knows. We did have a pre-window agreement for Nathan Redmond to go off to Leeds. I was trying to sell him all last season when he just ended up leaving. Some departures then to start the window off. We said goodbye to Manuel to Bournemouth. We also let go of Luca Warwick. He just didn't fit into the team, so we cashed out now. Then we also said goodbye to Obafemi, who just wasn't developing. And the Burnley board have absolutely bankrolled us for this season, giving us a whopping 86 million to work with. Looking at the team then, I think we need one more centre mid potentially. A Premier League centre half as well. Let's dive into the transfer market and see what we can do. First signing of the new window sorted, and it's Jared Branthwaite. He signs on from Everton for 40 million. Next up, we took advantage of Chelsea being in a poor position with FFP, and we signed Conor Gallagher for 35 million. Two bust the bank signings then in Gallagher and Branthwaite, but I think it's completely worth it. I didn't want to disrupt the team too much. I think these are the perfect additions. In terms of money now, we're understandably skint, so I'm probably just going to use the rest of the budget to tie down some new contracts, and that'll be about it. There's still 2 weeks before the transfer window ends, but that's where I'm going to wrap up our business. Let's now jump into January and see how we're going. Right then, I scrapped the mid-season update. I recorded it, but literally nothing happened during January, so I figured we'd just save some time. It's going to be a long video, and we just jump straight to the end of the season. We ended up only finishing 2 spots above the relegation zone, which wasn't a good result by any means, but we never really flirted with relegation either. We finished 14 points clear. Not a great finishing spot, but I'm just happy that we stayed in the Premier League this year. In the FA Cup, we went out in a round 3 replay to Bournemouth. Liverpool would then go on to win it over at Birmingham in the final. In the Carabao Cup, we got dumped out by Championship side Preston, and Arsenal would go on to win that one as well. In terms of development, Conor Gallagher went up to an 82, Ramsey went up to an 83, Branthwaite went up to an 82, Trezor up to an 81, Pedro went up to an 81, Bayo up to a 79, Steve up to a 79, and Burge up to a 79 as well. Diogo also went up to a 79, while James Trafford went up to a 78. In terms of stats, we struggled to score too many goals, but João Pedro did manage 19 goals, while Kyogo got 11 and Trezor got 9. In terms of assists, Trezor got 8, Burge got 4, Pedro got 3, Ramsey got 2, as did Gallagher and the other Ramsey. That wraps up our first season back back in the Premier League. Nothing spectacular, but a good base to grow from. Let's get into Season 3. Season 3 then, let's get into it. First up though, the board have not been as kind with the transfer budget as last year. I do have a plan to try and move on a few players, but I'm going to have to try and bring in some more for some squad rotation first. All three of Cullen, Twine and Foster all want to leave because of the lack of game time. This lad too, Massanegli, he wants to go. We went ahead and signed a bunch of free agents to add some squad depth to the team here. Wolfenden, Van der Beek, Mapai, Edvarsson and Limperle all joined. Next up, we said goodbye to former club captain Jay Cullen. He went off to Brentford for 8.8 million. In terms of the departures, we said goodbye to Masengo, Foster and Twine, who all left the club. Now that we've cleaned the squad up a little bit, it's time to look at what we need next. There's two positions in particular I'm looking at currently, and that's at striker for Furuhashi and on the wing for Cornet. I like both these players, but if we're going to push on, I think we need to move past them, especially with both from now heading into their 30s. After all the contracts and transfers, then we have 60 million to spend, so we should be able to work this into a new striker and winger. And for our first transfer then, we picked up an absolute steal here, picking up this lad on the last year of his contract. Adamo Luckman signing from Bergerac Calcio for Furuhashi plus 12 million. Next up, we sourced our long-term left mid as well. Honestly, as soon as I saw this guy's stats, I knew he was the one. He signed Lucas Paqueta from West Ham with 39 million on the dollar. Paqueta over on the left fits the absolute picture-perfect profile that we want for that left midfielder, and Luckman slots up nicely up top. Pretty happy with that business. There's still some spots I would have liked to have strengthened, perhaps, like maybe centre mid and a new centre half, but everyone we've got in these spots is still pretty young and plenty of room for development. And after those transfers, we're left with 4 million in the bank. Not enough to really do anything else, but I'm happy with where the squad is at right now. With our business being concluded, let's now jump into either the midway point of the season, or if nothing happens then, we'll dive into the end of the season. But either way, let's see how this season is going. Midway point of the season then, and we're currently sitting in 13th. We 100% should be doing better than this. We're really struggling at the moment to convert draws into wins, and you can see that in that column. We have 8 draws so far. And if you look up the table, if we had just converted 3 of them and gotten 6 extra points, we'd actually be sitting in 7th right now. Not the end of the world by any means, but a lot of hard work has to go into the team before the end of the season. First bit of transfer business, then we ended up selling Wilson Odobert off to Italy to, I think that's Atalanta, but I'm not 100% sure. Quick update with how the squad is doing. Everyone is growing really well. As for investment in the team though, I'm not really so sure what we can do with 20 million. I'll have a look, see maybe we can sign an experienced player for the rest of the season. Right then, we sorted out a centre back then for the rest of the season. Mavropanos signing from West Ham for Dara O'Shea plus 10 million. He comes in at 82 and will really help that defense out. Slots into the team nicely. As for Trafford, I'm going to give him to the end of the season to go to 81. Otherwise, we might have to look at bringing in a better keeper. And that wraps up the end of the winter transfer. However, it's not the end of our mid-season update. You might notice down in the bottom here, we have a neutral cup game against Everton. That's because we've made it to the final of the Carabao Cup. And of course, we're going to play our second chance for silverware, and we're fielding our absolute best 11 here. Let's get into the game. Carabao Cup Final, and can Scott Parker get his hand on his first bit of silverware as Burnley boss? Let's find out. Yeah, Pedro, an early chance here. Puts it through to Luckman. He's offside, but he goes for goal. It's a goal, but he's offside. Cagey game so far with both sides defending well, but Luckman could be in here. He's going to pull it back to Yao Pedro. Pedro tries to pull it back, goes for goal. 1-0 Everton. Sorry, Burnley. 1-0 to Burnley. In the 36th minute, we take the lead. What a goal from Pedro. Get him, lad. Half time then at Wembley, and Burnley take a 1-0 lead into the half. Both sides have been a bit apprehensive getting forward here so far. Everton trying to make something here. Diego Lopez down the wing, crosses it into the box. Arizona goes for the ball, and it's over the bar. A bit of work there from Trezor to win the ball. Now it's into Pedro, into Gallagher, into Sanderberg. Played forward to Luckman, trying to find the right pass here. Luckman tries to sleeve it over to Yao Pedro, controls it, tries to go for goal, cleared away from Everton. Into the 90th minute here, it's been a quiet second half. Everton maybe have time for one more attack, but Burnley are going to get this, and that's going to be all she wrote. Burnley pick up the Carabao Cup this year. In typical fashion, I accidentally skipped all the celebrations, but there you can see we did win the Carabao Cup. Scott Parker has his first bit of silverware in management and first for Burnley, and it confirms Europe for Burnley for next season. With our first bit of silverware in the books, let's now head to the end of the season and see if we can recover this Premier League season. End of the season then, and we are sitting in 9th place in the league. On the surface, it's good progress from 16th up to 9th in one season, but with the squad we have, we absolutely should be looking closer to 7th, if not potentially even higher. The biggest problem we had this season, it was the same problem we had in the winter update, is that we have too many draws. 15 draws is far too much. If we had converted just 5 of them into wins, we'd be joint on points with 5th and 6th. Don't get me wrong, it's not a bad result by any means, but given the score we've got, I'm a little bit disappointed. In the FA Cup, we went out in the 4th round to Aston Villa. Manchester City were going to win the FA Cup then. Obviously, we all know how the Carabao Cup went. Looking at the player development then, Conor Gallagher went up to 85, Branthwaite 84, Ramsey 84, Pedro 84, and then steady improvement for the rest of the squad. Looking at the stats then, I was oohing and ahhing about whether Trafford was the right man to keep between the sticks, and I noticed he had 4 clean sheets in 38 Premier League appearances. It is simply not good enough. He's had his chance in goal. I think now we need to look at bringing in a world-class keeper for season 4. In terms of goals, João Pedro hit 25, while Trezor got 13 and Lookman got 12. For assists, Trezor got 9, Pedro got 6, and Lookman got 5. And that's where season 3 ends then. Finishing 9th isn't a bad result by any means, and of course I'm delighted to have won the first bit of silverware with the Carabao Cup, but we 100% with this squad should be finishing in the actual European spots. Next season I think it has to be at least top 6. I've also decided for this career mode it will end once we win one of each domestic trophy, so that now leaves an FA Cup and a Premier League to win for Scott Parker's rebuild to be complete. Let's now get into season 4. Just quick confirmation then, we will be competing in the Conference League, and the board want us to win the cup in our first year. Quick look at the squad then as we go into season 4. Like I said at the end of last season, it's time for a goalkeeper upgrade. I also think it's time for Sander Berge to get replaced in the team. We'll try and find a new centre mid to partner Gallagher. And then if we have the money, we might try and bring another centre half over Steve as well. In terms of budget then, the board have given us 78 million. That's definitely enough for 2 players, probably not enough to stretch it to 3 unless we sell some players. It took a little while to find the keeper, but as soon as I found that this guy was in his last year of his contract, it was an absolute no-brainer. We signed Mamadashvili from Valencia for 30 million. He's an 85 rated. First outgoing of the summer then, we say goodbye to Jordan Bayer, the German centre half signing from Man United for 25 million. Next up then, we did source a centre back option as well. We signed Ladislav Krejci from Osawana for 25 million. And final bit of business sorted then for the window as we wrap up the signing of Angel Gomez for 32.5 million from Napoli. The centre mid coming in at an 83 rating. Looking then at the squad, I'm really happy with those 3 signings of Gomez, Krejci and Mamadashvili. I didn't expect us to be able to complete all 3, but we really strengthened the core of our team here. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind now this team should be able to challenge for top 6, if not even a little bit higher. In terms of money, we have a tiny bit left after I sorted out some new contracts, but nowhere near enough to make any dent into the team. With our winter business now wrapped up, let's sim forward into the future and see how this team is progressing. We're going to dive straight into the end of the season then. There wasn't much to report in the midway point of the season, so I figured we'd just jump all the way to the end, in which we have finished 4th. An absolutely incredible turnaround for the lads from last season when we finished 9th. And as you can see, we started converting those draws into wins, and it's propelled us into the Champions League spots. Over in the Carabao Cup, we made it to the semi-finals, losing to eventual winners Arsenal. Over in the Conference League, we did make it to the final where we're going to play Real Sociedad. As much as I would like to win this trophy, I am just going to sim the game, however. The point of this save is to bring the 3 domestic trophies to Burnley. Speaking of our main objective, however, we have made it to the FA Cup final, and we're playing against Newcastle as well. I would love to turn this lot over. Our absolutely strongest lineup today. Let's go in and win another domestic trophy over Burnley. Alright lads. Right, FA Cup final time. I have no idea why it's so dark here at Wembley, but let's get into it. So now driving forward, trying to find it through a Lookman. He got caught on the defender there, trying to make something work. Oh, I missed the pass, but I didn't. Trezor in to make it 1-0. Oh, what a save by Ramsdale. Oh, good high pressure there from Burnley. Who won it is we can play it back into Lookman, trying to find something. He's missed the pass. No, he hasn't. Trezor, chance to go for goal. Oh, another good save from Ramsdale. He's keeping the minute here. Newcastle coming forward now. It's been all one-way traffic so far for us, back and changing it instant. As Isaac goes on the goal, it's a good ball roll into goal. 1-0 at Newcastle. We got absolutely done in the box there. Oh, that's not good at all. 1-0 at Newcastle. 40 minutes gone. Into the second half now. Oh, that could be a red, ref. That has to be a red. He just went through the back of Paqueta, surely. We lost in the FA Cup final a few years ago. We lost because of a red card. Is there going to be a red card here? It is. Ashby's gone. We have the man advantage here in the FA Cup final. Trying to make something work here. Pedro now coming forward. Oh, I missed the pass, but no, it's Trezor. He could be in here. Trezor make it 1-1. Oh, another good save from Ramsdale. Good high pressure from Gallagher. We have a chance to go through into Pedro. Oh, I try to put it through to Lookman. He got there. Oh, he's got there. What a goal. It's 1-1. What a chip finish from Lookman. It's 1-1. Oh, I'm so relieved. I didn't think we were going to score. We've leveled it in the FA Cup final. Let's go. Ramsey with the corner here in towards Krejci, the normal tie. He gets up. Oh, it's fallen in. I was going to say another good save from Ramsdale, but it's not. It's fallen in. The captain, Krejci, has given us the lead in the 85th minute. And that's all she wrote in the FA Cup final. We've done it. There we are then. Another bit of silverware for Scott Parker and the second trophy we need to complete this rebuild. The only thing that's left now is to win the Premier League. Last thing to wrap up this season then is the Conference League final. I'm just going to go ahead and quick sim it, and we come away with the win. 2-1. Nicely done. In terms of stats, Pedro got 31 goals, Trezor got 28, Lookman got 24, Ramsey got 11, and Paqueta got 10. One of the biggest differences for this season is we were absolutely banging in goals all year round. One of the things to note here in the rest of the squad is that Cornet will be leaving on a free. I tried to negotiate, but he wants to move away. So that wraps up the season then. There's one more trophy we need still to finish this rebuild, and that's the Premier League, so we're going all out next season. Let's go. Rolling into season 5 then, and this is how the team is looking. We had some really good development across the squad solid last season. In terms of where we're going to improve, that kind of all depends on the budget we are given. Quick little bit of business here. We signed Reece Nelson on a free with some backup for those centre forward options. And the board have absolutely bankrolled us here. We must have a new sponsor at Turf Moor or something. 183 million to splash on the squad. And looking at the team again, the only two options that potentially we have for replacements would be centre half for Mavropanos and Gomez in centre mid. I know we just signed Gomez, but those are the two logical spots as they're the lowest rating in the team. So we're diving into the transfer market and see what we can do there. I'm looking at our shortlist for this season. We can well and truly say that realism is gone and out the window. But I guess that's what happens when you get into your 5th season with Burnley trying to win the Premier League. And our transfer strategy for this window is simple. We want the world's best players who are in the last year of their contract so we can get them on a cheap. And that starts here with Alessandro Bastoni signing with 33.5 and Ademola Lookman. Don't get me wrong, I like Lookman a lot, but when this man is available, we just had to go and get him. He's rated 89. Rasmus Højlund signs for 87.5 million. And it was a little bit more difficult to find a centre mid, but we've done it. We wrapped up Palacios here. He signed from Atletico Madrid for just over 35 million. Understandably, with those 3 transfers, when I was skint for the rest of the season, but I think it's worth it. And there we are. Then we've added 3 world-class players into our starting 11 here. There's absolutely no way we shouldn't be pushing for the title here and challenging Man City's dominance. Try to keep the transfer business there short and sweet. So let's now dive into the season and see how we can get on. Right now, into the end of the season, and what a season it's been. We are currently sitting top of the Premier League, 1 point ahead of Manchester City with 1 game left to go. As you can see on the right of the screen, Manchester City have Southampton in their next game, and we have Aston Villa. I don't think there's any world where Manchester City won't beat Southampton, so going into this final game at Villa Park, we have to win to lift the Premier League trophy. Remember that as well, winning the Premier League will complete this rebuild. At that point, Scott Parker will have won all 3 of the major English domestic cups. Also just clocked that Spurs can still win the league as well, which makes it a very simple equation we have to win. In the other competitions though, we started the season off well, winning the Community Shield on penalties against Man City. In the FA Cup, we went out in the semi-final to Newcastle. Over in the Carabao Cup, we were out in round 4 to Manchester City as well. And finally, in the Champions League, we did go out to Real Sociedad in the round of 16. Sociedad, by the way, would then go on to reach the final against Barcelona. Quick look at the stats then as we head into this final game. Del Pedro, probably the GOAT of this series, bagged 33 goals. Højlund got 16, Trezor got 15, Ramsey got 11. In terms of assists, Trezor got 14 and Pedro got 12. Let's not waste any more time. Here we are then, final game of this mammoth rebuild here, and we are away to Aston Villa. We know that today we have to win in order to win the Premier League. Going to the lineup today, it is our strongest one. Front 3 is made up of João Pedro, Højlund and Trezor. The midfield consists of Paqueta, Palacios, Gallagher and Ramsey. A backline of Branthwaite, Krejci and Bastoni, and Mamardashvili in between the sticks. Let's not waste any more time. Let's go and win Scott Parker his Premier League trophy. All to play for then. Here we go. 3 teams can still win the Premier League, but if we win today, nothing else matters. Let's go. Paqueta now is trying to stretch the play. Seeing the run into the box of Højlund. That's a great ball. It's a great header. Oh, what a save. Awesome. Great high pressure. A chance here for Højlund. Goes for goal. Oh, he's put it over the bar. You've got to get that on target. Once again, coming forward here. Gallagher slips it through. Pedro could be in here. Pedro, can he find a shot? Can he get 1-on-1? He goes for goal. It's 1-0. Burnley have scored. Burnley, as it stands, are your Premier League champions. They've got one hand on the trophy. What a goal from Pedro. Let's go. A chance for a counter-attack here. Pedro on the ball. Tries to find through. He's got Højlund. Højlund here. A lot of free space. If he can get away from the defender, he can. I think he's left-footed here. Chance. It's just, oh, too far. Got too close to the keeper. Good save. Chance for the corner here. Paqueta into the box. In towards Bastoni. Headed up. Only as far as Krejci, who gets on it. Oh, just wide. Half time then at Villa Park, and as it stands, Burnley are Premier League champions, but there's still a lot of football to play in the second half here. In the second half here, and Skov Olsen just diving down the wing. He scores his problems all day. It's Jimenez back into Olsen, driving into the box. It's a good ball in the box, and Rodgers scores. It's 1-1. Aston Villa are putting a dampener on Burnley's party here, and he's just celebrating by standing in the goal, but Aston Villa won, Burnley won. Burnley are coming forward here. They need to find a winner. They've only got themselves to blame. They've had the chances, as Pedro could be in here. He scored the first. Pedro, can he get a second? João Pedro 1-on-1, goes for goal. It's a tiny little finish. Burnley 2, Aston Villa 1. Burnley's title hopes are back on. Zari now for Aston Villa, plays it into Lobotka. Lobotka through, it's in. Oh, Garcia's made 2-2. Aston Villa are determined to spoil the party here. And now Burnley are drawing at Villa Park, and this could be all over here for Burnley. Ramsey here trying to work something for Burnley. He's got a bit of space in that wing. He's driving at the box here. Driving with purpose. Cuts it back, goes for goal. Well blocked. Ramsey now. Back to Branthwaite. Back to Ramsey now. Trying to work something into the box. He's into Højlund. That's a great turn. Højlund goes for goal. He's got it in the 83rd minute. Rasmus Højlund might have just won the Premier League for Burnley. What a turn. What a shot. What a goal. Burnley lead 3-2 here. 90th minute here. One last throw die for Aston Villa. Diaby now bursting down the line. He's got a lot of pace. But great defending from the captain, Krejci. If he can clear it, that should be it. That should be the title wrapped up. Burnley have done it. Burnley have won the Premier League. Scott Parker has completed English football, and he has lifted all 3 of their major domestic competitions. It's been 5 long years of work, but Scott Parker has done it. He has completed English football with Burnley, and here is the final piece of the puzzle, the Premier League trophy. Burnley have done it! Once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. The support on this channel in the first few weeks has been insane. This video is a bit longer than my normal ones. I just wanted to get this one out because of the news that Scott Parker went to Burnley. Sunderland RTG will be back in the next few days or so. We'll probably smash through 2 or 3 episodes in a row. Once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like and a sub, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.